let's get started. Father God, thank you for a new day and new challenges that come with it. We thank you for your guidance and your love and your leadership. We ask you to bless our nation and our county, state, the leadership in those areas. Pray for all the people that are stuck out in Afghanistan, that you provide safe passage for them in Jesus' name. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. All right, first thing is the public communication. Is there anyone that has something they'd like to say for 3 minutes? If so, please step up to the microphone. Anyone? All right, we'll move on to our consent agenda. We have some pullouts. On page 2 for Commissioner Morales, $506.27. Motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
One abstention.
Motion carries. On page 5, Commissioner Bruins, $537.60. Motion to approve, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
Motion carries. Page 7, Goliad Auto Parts, $219.83. Motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
Motion carries. Page 9, Highway Garage, $330. Motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One abstention.
Motion carries. The remainder of the consent agenda, does anyone have questions about that? If not, I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll motion to approve, Judge.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3 is the approval of a resolution of the Goliad County Commissioners Court in regard to Help America Vote Act election security subgrant to Texas counties. Mary Ellen, do you have something to say about that, or have something you wanted to say about that?
I would just ask that the court approve it. It's a grant for the county to purchase voting equipment, additional voting equipment. We had originally purchased some of the poll books, and then we're trying to get voting machines, new voting machines. Ours are probably about 15 to 20 years old, and we're just trying to get with the program, and the money's available, so if y'all would approve it, we can hopefully get the grant money so we can purchase these without the county having the additional spent monies from county coffers.
I believe we have about a $16,000 match on that. Is that correct?
I don't really know, but it's very minimal. And they're going to give us some credit for our old voting machines, so that would help too.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Mary Ellen?
I have a question. Would these machines be controversial online and in the cloud and all that kind of stuff, so they can be?
They're state approved. They're state approved.
That's not my question. I'm just wondering, are they going to be in the cloud and internet so people can hack into them like they hack into other things?
Well, I don't think that's not avoidable at all. People can hack into anything.
Not if they're not
But
if there's not a.
there's security out there, that they have in place.
So you think they'll be hooked up to the internet then?
Well, like when we do the totals to the state, yes, they are, and presently it is. But, I mean, you have to do it, that's prescribed by the state. You have to go online on election night and manually put in your numbers. So there's no way around not going in the internet.
But that doesn't have to necessarily be done through the actual machine. That can be done through a separate computer.
Well, it's going to download the information from the machine, but then we are instructed to input information directly to the Secretary of State by the internet.
Correct, but it's not, you're downloading the machines that are not necessarily hooked up to the internet then. Is that what you're saying?
They will be internet
They will be.
based. Yes, sir.
Do you still have paper ballots, though, that go in them?
It's paper ballots, and then you'll have a receipt, as we do now,
Right.
for backup.
So you do have backup, paper ballots?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Most counties are going back to the paper ballot. A lot of counties kind of migrated away from it, but now they're migrating back to it because of all the election problems that people have.
As small as our county is, I would like to see us go to paper ballots completely and do away with all the possibilities that exist with machines being hooked up to the internet. That's one man's opinion, but I think we operated that way for many, many years, and it seems to be a safer bet. That's just my 2 cents. Anyway, this is just an approval for the application. We have not received the grant yet.
And what was the match you said, Judge? 10% or what?
It's $16,000, and I think it's it's a little over $100,000 worth.
Yeah,
of
it
grant.
says here 101,000 and some change. I'll motion to approve the resolution to apply for the grant.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Second, number 4 is approval of order to approve online education for county commissioners. You have the resolution in your packet. Basically keeps you from having to go to classes elsewhere if you don't choose to do that.
Did-
I did it last year with my training, and it was pretty nice. Any questions, comments?
Well, it's already set up like that. Why are we bringing it?
I'm sorry?
It's already set up like that. We can do online, or why are we bringing this to court?
I suppose it's a yearly deal. We got the resolution in the mail.
Okay.
You want to call the governor's office, I'm sure.
Yeah, no.
Or Secretary of State's office. Sure, they can explain it to you. But basically, we approve and authorize online instruction as a court, which we've never done.
Yeah,
We're saying as a court that it's all right if we do that. I suppose they're just dotting the i's and crossing the t's.
Yes, 'cause I was gonna say, for history on it, I've been here 10 years, we've never approved
Well,
one like that. I'm just saying, resolution
I'm
to that
sure it
effect.
has to do with the COVID.
Yeah.
Everybody's always went to the in-person classes,
Right,
and they're just creating another way.
another avenue. Okay,
It doesn't mean you have to.
right.
It just means you can.
It's another opportunity.
Right. So I need an approval for that, if I could get it, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Wade? You here? Approval of rate-setting budget for Title III Transportation Services between Area Agency on Aging and Goliad County Rural Transit, fiscal year '22. Ma'am?
This is just our annual rate-setting budget, so we can receive funding with the Area Agency on Aging for transportation.
Have you sent this, run it by the county?
I did. I have not received the confirmation back, but I did send it to his office. So can we have it pending his,
So we can make a motion that we pass it contingent upon the county attorney's approval. And if he says no, then
I'll make that a motion that we approve this with the attorney at some point in the very near future, looking at the contract and approving it.
need a second on that, please.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have the approval of the Goliad County Sheriff and Constable's fees for 2022. You have a copy in your packet in front of you. Any questions or comments? I believe they're static from last year.
Same thing, yes.
That's my understanding.
They were all good with that, Judge.
Sir?
They were all good with keeping them the same, the fees?
That's my understanding, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, then, on a motion to approve the sheriff and constable's fees for 2022.
Need a second on that, please?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, consideration, discussion, action concerning the award of a construction contract for the BLO CDBG DR grant, number 20-065-099-C27, Goliad County Street Improvement Project. Ms. Bickford, are you still on the line?
Yes, sir.
All right, you might get a question here pretty soon. I'm going to put the microphone down relatively close to you.
Okay.
These particular construction projects, I believe, are going to be, all of them are going to be located in Precinct 1. They are a zero match.
Zero match.
They are zero hands-on by the county.
Zero hands.
They've been engineered through Hanson, and the engineer, Anna, will see to it that it's done in accordance to what she drew up. Does anyone have any questions?
Judge, who's on the phone? I'm sorry, I didn't get a name.
I'm sorry?
Who's on the phone there? I didn't get a name.
This is just for Bickford. She's with our grant administration, Langford.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions for her?
Commissioner
Precinct 1, you good with the project?
think
Well,
this-
the only thing I'm curious about was, that, it's a little bit more than we first thought about as far as, what I was told and what we have here. So,
Judge, Commissioners, Anna Aldridge with Hanson Professional Services, your engineer for this project. Yes, the bids came in high. All paving projects are coming in high. We looked at all the projects around, close by, Yoakum, Hallettsville, Karnes City, McMullen County, Newton County. All the bids for paving projects are coming in a lot higher than anybody could have ever predicted. They even came in higher than we split out. Remember we discussed, we split out some of the streets to be the base bid and then had the rest of the streets be additive, and even the base did come in high. I can't point to one particular bid item that's higher than the other. The overall, in general, everything is up high. The low bid contractor, Brannon, has done a lot of work on TxDOT projects, comes highly recommended by the city of Victoria and 2 other counties that have used them for several years and speak highly of them, like working for them. What else? The other thing that, the other reason that the bids came in higher is because we have to add more base more limestone to the project than we had originally thought once we got the geotech report in. You don't have a lot of base out there
Yeah.
already, so we had to add some limestone, but that'll give some real good streets that ought to last.
So I guess, with the next phase of this, will we apply for more because we know it's gonna take more to do the same job? Or we're gonna break this into maybe 3 phases to try to get them all done out there?
Now, the other GLO application that we made did include other streets, but I don't think that one was approved. So future projects, you could apply for more funding for the rest of the streets in that area.
The second grant was not approved, however, we did get the one for the streets, Anastasia, Dallas. Well, I say we were number 1 on the bid list, and it's $350,000. So everything in the construction industry is up right now. We applied for this grant pre-COVID, if anybody can remember that far back. And it's taken this long to get it approved. So we have an opportunity to get these streets repaired at no cost to the county or the taxpayers, and I'm recommending that we move forward with it.
Well, I certainly agree. I'm just, when we start something in a neighborhood like that, we need to do them all, somehow or another. So we'll just keep working till we get them all.
I hope we can find more funding to finish those up.
Okay.
So I need a approval to accept this bid.
I make a motion, we accept the bid.
Need a second, please?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, consideration, discussion, and action concerning an award of a construction contract for BLO CDBG-DR grant number 20-065099 C271, Goliad County Auditorium Improvement Project. Ms. Anna?
This is part of the same grant project. We had 3 separate we split it into 3 separate projects and had 3 different bids because we had streets, we had the improvements inside the auditorium, and we had generators, and those are 3 different types of contractors. So instead of trying to get one contractor running around doing a bunch of different things, we just said, let's split it into that's why you have 3 contracts to approve. The auditorium was for repairing the wood floor and making renovations in the restrooms.
Plaster on the walls.
Plaster on the walls, replacing some plumbing fittings, some doors, things like that inside the auditorium. And we had 2 bids. And the low bidder was A&A Contractors out of Victoria. The apparent low bid was $144,800, and that's for the base bid and all the additives. And we recommend approval of the base and the additives to A&A Constructors.
Okay, on the, that is the restroom on the north side?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. And being a historic building, everything they do, they'll, I guess, okay with the Historical Society, I'm sure?
We have approval right now to go in and do the renovations from the historic agencies.
Great.
The repairs themselves will not be historic materials.
No, I doubt it.
And what they're replacing isn't historic materials.
Right.
A lot of the doors and partitions and things and the plumbing fixtures are not historic.
No,
They were
I
newer.
know.
So
Yes, ma'am, I know. But like, I guess the doors will look like the doors that are there. There again, it's between them and you, I think it's great we're getting doors on there, so.
in the case of, you've got some doors where there's some nice transoms. Now, those are historic, and And we decided not to replace those, just to try to fix them or not to replace the transoms, just the door part, trying to keep some of that historical flavor
Right.
to it.
It's my understanding that the auditorium is not on the State Historical Commission's list. It is, however, on the National Register, so
That is
we'll
correct.
stay within those bounds.
Yeah.
Right.
Great, thank you.
Well, I have a question about the west doors also. There's a double doors to go in to the, I guess you'd call it the foyer, but then there's other doors that go into the main part, the double doors. Are you going to replace all, are you going to, I think there's like 3 sets of other wooden doors that go into the auditorium. Are those also going to be replaced, or just the 2 main doors going into the south foyer area?
The doors that we spec to be replaced are not the main doors going into the foyer, but the ones on the west side,
Correct, there's
the
sets.
ones that are leaking.
Okay, there's sets of like, I think there's 3 sets of double doors that open there going into the auditorium part, not into the foyer.
Yes, sir.
Those are the doors you're replacing?
Those are the ones that we're
Not the
talking,
main doors?
not the main doors.
Oh, okay.
But where the water is coming in.
Yes, ma'am.
Those, and those may not be the original ones either, so.
Right.
And we've left that to the contractor to give some suggestions and recommendations on the exact ones to replace. All the improvements will have, the stain on the floors and, the paint colors and things like that. The county will approve prior, you'll have a chance to look at them. Someone from the county will say yes or no before they get put in.
And they do know about the cracks in the stadium seats where the water has still dripped in when the wind blows it underneath the roof.
The stadium seats aren't part of this project.
But I mean, that's where the water has dripped into the floors, and there's a rotten hole on the northeast side and a hole on the southeast side where water has come in those cracks.
Let's see, the large.
Yes, yeah, it
part,
goes. Yeah.
that part, and then there's a smaller one up towards the stage.
Right, that's correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
And I guess my question is, the original grant was for $723,000, is that correct?
That is correct.
So how much of an overrun are we gonna be at when all this is over?
The overrun for all three projects, $196,919 are the overruns. And that summary page should be in your packet.
Okay.
And my understanding is the plan is to pay the overruns from the ARP funds.
Any other questions? If not, need to get a motion, please, to approve these bids, this bid.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the last bid, consideration, discussion, and action concerning award of construction contract for the BLO CDBG DR grant number 20-065099-C27 Goliad County Generator Improvement Project. As in the other 2 bids, there's been the prices of generators have went up, not only because of COVID, because of the demand created by the cold weather spell we had this past February. We have asked that the city consider putting in on half of that where we're short, if you have to receive a response from them. Any rate, though, we intend to put in emergency generator at the La Bahia water plant, the Berkeley water plant, and the auditorium so that we can create a warming center or a cooling center, whatever the case, for our citizens. At this point, when there's no power in the county, as was the case last February, we were without. It was totally unacceptable to us, and I believe the city as well. And we had to go out for emergency generators, and we were able to get some power hooked up to the Wimberley building. So that's the situation on that. So we are short on that. We do have recovery funds that are available, non-ad valorem monies that we can put towards those generators. As I said, we're hoping that the city participates. That's yet to be seen. Yes, ma'am.
Come,
What is the overage for the auditorium project generator?
$54,850. No, I'm sorry. That would. Yes, these two numbers. I totaled the whole thing. Yes, 112 minus 84. Sorry. 112 minus 84.
So these projects have also been in the making a long time. They were prior to the freeze, prior to COVID, and we're trying to create a self-sustaining, freestanding structure that will allow our people in Goliad County to have a place to go to in the event of an emergency.
Okay. Judge, I had received your email, and it stated that 112 was the overage for the project, but I'm seeing that 112 was the low bid and not the overage of the project. So the overage is 27,150,
For your half.
and half of 27,150 would be half, right, for the auditorium amount. I am taking this to the auditorium committee on Thursday. We do have a meeting set up on Thursday at 2 o'clock. I'll have to take that before then, before I take it to council. I believe that when we did sign the grant, that we did state that, was this all that you were going to need, and you wouldn't be asking for any more cash from the city. So I know that my council person that made that motion did say that we would not be inputting any more cash funds to the project, not knowing that this would be such an overage to the project, of course. But like I said, it is going to the auditorium committee on Thursday, and then it will go to the city council at the next meeting. Okay? We meet Wednesday, so it'll be 2 weeks from Wednesday when council meets again.
Okay.
Okay? But the number I'm looking at is half of 27,150. Is that what you're saying?
Is that correct?
Okay. When I received your email, I did respond, but I did, with my calculations of the 27,150 being the overage of the actual grant amount, but I didn't get a response to that. So just, I wanted to come here and confirm that number.
All right.
All right? Thank you.
okay, so I have a question now. So the overage is 54,850, and the city's would be 27,000. Is that where the $27,000 is coming from?
I misstated. The 54,850 is part, it's not the overage. That's part of the low bid price.
Okay.
Okay. The overage on the auditorium generator itself, and I've got it split into different areas, so that's, and I don't have, we have the water wells and the the auditorium generator all done together. So the, it's 112 minus 84,000, 112,000 minus 84,000, and that's the overage.
Okay,
Okay. And
which
I
is
will-
the 27,000.
Yes.
And the city's gonna pay all that overage? Is that, they're gonna pay half of that?
Well, they hadn't said that. They said they're gonna
They'll consider.
let us know.
Okay, but the total amount of overage is 27,000 something, okay. Okay, thank you. I was confused about the 54.
My mistake.
So I need a motion to approve this bid for these generators.
I'll make a motion that we approve the generator bid for the auditorium.
That would be for all, but for both water.
True, I'm sorry,
and
for
the-
all the generators.
Right.
Excuse me.
Need a second on that, please?
I'll second it, Judge.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. I'm sorry.
And I voted,
I voted aye too. I'm sorry.
So how do we vote on that?
Aye, yeah.
Yes.
You voted to approve it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
You vote to approve?
Motion carried.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Anna. Next item on the list, discussion and/or action on line item transfer in road and bridge for precinct 2. Commissioner Morales?
Yes, as it's self-explanatory, they were moving monies from one line item to the other one because of a shortfall in equipment repairs. So I'm asking approval of the court to go ahead and approve this transfer. It's in the amount of 5,000, I'm sorry.
Any questions for Commissioner Morales? If not, I need a motion, please.
I'll approve it. I'll motion to do it.
Is this something we bring to court every time we do this, or do we put it in the consent agenda? I thought that always went in the consent agenda.
It did before, but then we changed that.
Oh, because I've done some transfers and, okay. I'll get with Rusty.
Need a second, please.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm-
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Ms. Bickford, we didn't need you much. Thank you for showing up and being available.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yes, ma'am. Item number 11, discussion action to relocate Precinct 2 JP and Constable's office due to mold in the current building. Before we get started on that, I have an update. I was able to coerce the owner of Top View Roofing one time to come down, and he fixed the roof, he said, and we had Commissioner Morales show up with the fire trucks, squirt copious amounts of water on the roof. There were no leaks, and the owner of Top View Roofing paid his sub. Subsequent to that, we have developed numerous leaks. It's a spray foam roof. I have contacted Mr. Darby Kyle. First time I talked to him, he was in Hawaii. 2 weeks later, when he finally got back with me, he informed me that he had closed his doors and he wasn't bending over anymore. I did a search, a little small search for him, and I found out that he still has offices in Oklahoma, several spots in Texas, and he has no intention of moving any farther with us, although he is on the hook for it. I've asked Ms. Flores for a copy of the warranty and the contract, which at this point I have not received, but I'm looking forward to being able to get it soon. And we're going to have to chase this guy down. He is not out of business. He's just out of business in Goliad. So it's a little too soon to get the okay to pursue him, but I'll be coming to you asking for that approval because this guy's in business and your vacations in Hawaii. So, that's just an update on that. Now, on the item that we have listed here, there's mold all over that office in the Market Street Annex. It's obviously still leaking. It's not a healthy environment. We have 2 offices available where Ms. Wade's offices were in the hospital. They're adjacent to, I guess you would say, catty corner to J.P. Moore's offices. There is a courtroom there that's available for use. This is a public safety thing. We can't ask citizens to walk in there and pay fines and be exposed to the mold. It's not fair to ask Mr. Calhoun or Jackie to endure that environment. I thought that the move would have already taken place, but thus far it hadn't. And I have to insist that we force them to move because you can't stay in it. It's black. And when someone gets sick, they're going to sue Goliad County, and we don't need that. So that's where we stand. If there's anything else that someone else knows, I'm happy to entertain it, but this isn't a, hey, I don't want to move, or I really don't want to move, or I'll think about it. It's a, you're going to move because it's an unsafe environment for our employees and people that walk in that room.
Has a mold test been done on that office?
There has not been a mold test done on it. There's black all over the walls. There's no point in having a mold test done on something when it's still leaking.
I believe they had said they wanted to have that tested. I think they were working on getting a test. They had contacted one of the companies, I believe one that you had used already too.
I'm not sure how that works. Those orders come through not the JP's office. Servpro doesn't do mold tests. I can tell you that for sure from dealing with them. And gentlemen, this is not a, well, maybe someday we'll do it. This has to happen. This has to happen. Not a month from now. This has to happen. ASAP. And we've been talking about it personally for I've been talking about it for 3 weeks to no avail. And it's time to move on it. Commissioner's Court makes the assignments in the counties. Commissioner's Court. It's not a vote by the JPs or whatever elected official is directly involved in it because that's where their office is. This is nothing more than a Commissioner's Court decision. Large period. I've checked it a number of different ways. And we have to require this move. We just do.
I have a question, Judge. This is the first I've heard of this, but the rapid transit building, the old rapid transit office, is it, I'm assuming, suitable? It would be plenty suitable for the JP office and the constable because there's more than one area in that. So the constable could have an area and the JP could have an area, and then the clerk could have the third office area.
2 weeks ago when I talked to Commissioner Edwards about it, we agreed that there needs to be a door cut in from the hallway that would create a small vestibule area for any customers that walked in and provide a level of protection for the secretary. We agreed that would happen. And thus far, I have not seen any more movement on that. But this absolutely has to happen. You can't remediate mold in an office that's occupied. That goes without saying. And the mold is continuing to grow. We're gonna wind up scaving that roof off and putting a new roof on, which is gonna be a considerable amount of expense and labor. It's gonna require that the air conditioning is turned off, and it's just not a suitable place for anyone to try to operate. And quite honestly, I don't understand what the reluctance is to vacate those offices. Can y'all help me with that?
Well, we need to vacate them for the safety of our employees anyway,
Absolutely.
and the motor and the public that goes into those offices.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this has been dragging along, kind of hemming and hawing, and now I hear that, well, they're going to check. I don't know who they is, but ServPro doesn't do that kind of work. I had to go to San Antonio to get someone to identify the mold, and to get it mitigated and remediated was a whole nother project. So I'm going to ask that y'all make a motion to see that this move takes place. We have empty offices there that are more than suitable, and it needs to happen sooner rather than later.
Have they looked at the new offices to see if it all will work for them?
Have I looked at the office?
No, have they, Calhoun and Jackie, have they looked at the new office?
I would defer to Commissioner Edwards on that. He was going to run with the ball.
To my knowledge, they have not went over and looked at what we have. I know that they know we have to make some modifications for them to be able to work in there. But they're both of them, Jackie and Judge Calhoun, are in quarantine right now, and they couldn't be here. And I would prefer that we give them an opportunity to express their motive before we do this.
I'll make a motion that we move to refurbish or redesign that building so that they can move in, because if there is a mold issue and employees of the county are there and citizens are going in that is unhealthy, I'll make the motion that we get a contractor to whatever it takes to fix the doors or fix it so that there would be safety there. I'll make that motion that we move and have that done, and the JP and the constable vacate the mold-infected building that they're in and move to the new JP and constable office in the old hospital building. I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion?
Sure.
The only thing that concerns me is we're working on, we think there's mold. We don't really have anybody tell us for sure what kind of mold it is, how bad it is. I'm not sure if we're not jumping the gun before we do this.
Call the question.
That's the question. Just saying.
You were the one that told me there was water dripping into the building, and you sent me pictures of black.
Well, a lot of that up there that's black has been sprayed up there to try to stop the leak. It's not that it could be mold. It's been sprayed across some of those cracks up there to try to stop the water from coming through. So,
Okay. The pictures I saw indicate that there's mold in that building, and the problem is growing. This is not a self-healing situation, and it's irresponsible not to get our employees moved out of there and not to subject citizens that come in to pay a ticket or have other business with JP2 from being able to operate in a safe environment. Plus, scaving that roof off. There is a lot of polyurethane on top of that roof, and it's going to require the rooftop air conditioner be taken out, and it's going to be an unconditioned, air-conditioned space. And as I said at the beginning, it's not that I don't care what the current occupants think about it, but this is not their decision, and we're wasting time on this. This is something that needs to happen. Feelings have nothing to do with this. Feelings have nothing to do with it.
Judge, there's a motion and a second. Did you call for the vote?
I call for a vote on that. All in favor of having the JP and his assistant move their offices to the old transit offices, catty corner to JP Moore's location, signify by saying aye.
Including the constable. Including the
And
constable
the
also.
constable. There's room there for everyone.
So there's room for all three of those?
I'm sorry?
There is room for all three of those there?
Yes.
Yeah, there's room for all of it. Needs to happen.
I think his motion was to upgrade those offices.
Yeah, the motion was also to get a contractor to go ahead and make the safety concerns.
It's nothing more than cutting a doorway in the CMU
Okay.
and building a counter space. It's a minor thing.
Okay, good.
They just cannot continue to be in there. So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 The ayes have it. Public announcements. Does anyone have a public announcement? Going once, going twice.
I got something. Over the weekend, it seems that people seem to think that the Goliad County Transfer Station is under my authorization to operate. And I want to make it very clear that while I do try my best to support it, I do not make decisions on how it's manned or when it's manned. And for people to think that I'm not doing my job by not leaving it, having it closed is not true. And I just want to make that very clear that while I did tell the judge that I could not staff it this week because we were busy with building roads, I also made it clear to him that I was not agreeable to closing it. And
Excuse
so
me, I didn't hear that. You said,
I didn't agree with you to close it. Never did. I've always told you I wanted that kept open as much as we can because too many people depend on it. So, anyway, it was a sign posted up there to thank me because it was closed that I wouldn't provide basic services to Goliad County residents. And I want the residents of Goliad to know that I work very hard to do my job and my duties that are assigned to me. And I'm not assigned to man that transfer station, nor do I decide when it's open or closed.
who's in charge of the transfer station?
You are. You sign the timesheet.
I keep his time. I keep the time of of Theo, the man who operates the station. I ask for a replacement, like has always been done. People may or may not be aware I'm a one-man show. I do not have a maintenance man. I don't have anyone to step in. I did what has normally been done, as I understand it. I asked Commissioner Edwards if he could staff it, and he told me he couldn't. He was going to be building roads. So I decided there was no other option other than to close it. We put a notice on the website, and I believe Facebook too, but I could be wrong about that. But there was a notice on the website that said we were going to be closed for a week because I didn't have anybody to do it. So be careful about.
Well, all I want to say is I'm not the only commissioner on this court. And if you're going to come to me, you should come to all of us.
Okay. So when I came to you, I should have went to the other three and asked them is that what you just said?
Yes, sir. Like I said, I have worked very hard to try to support you with this, but whenever I can't.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. It is my fault. I decided to close it because we needed someone to operate it, and I am really sure that every commissioner on this floor right now knows it was closed for lack of help. But if y'all want to say it wasn't, I have very broad shoulders, and I'm able to accept it. I made the decision to close it. I made the decision to close it because there was no one there to operate it. And Theo had put his vacation in. several months beforehand. And that's what happened. So if the buck stops with me, then so be it. But I certainly couldn't go out there and operate the station and form budgets and work on the air conditioning, dripping, and everything else I've done for the last week.
I went out this Saturday afternoon and picked up all the trash that had been dropped off there because the gates were closed, so that it wouldn't make a mess in that neighborhood. And it was like 3 buckets. I wasn't a lot. It was just 3 buckets of the backhoe to pick up and move inside, but I did go out there and do that.
All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
So move, Judge.
Second,
I second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.